Hi, I'm Nick Pawson. You're watching News 24 Live this Thursday lunchtime. I'm joined in studio by Harry Phillips from the Health 24 team to discuss the latest developments with the Ebola outbreak. Harry, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, as I mentioned, what is the latest? I believe there's another case in Texas.
We do. We've got another case in America. Not ideal. That's now 3 cases in the country. And as a whole, we're seeing more cases, more deaths, 4,500 confirmed deaths out of 9,000 cases. The more worrying statistic which has come out is the WHO and the CDC think that that's underestimated by about 2.5 times. So that's more like 21,000 cases, which is quite worrying. And it's only looking to continue going, looking at about a 3-week doubling rate at the moment, which is really not ideal.
Yeah.
We've also got some civil unrest. Sierra Leone just today has a couple of nasty riots, tear gas, and that's really worrying because if you start seeing people disobeying the authorities, even if the authorities aren't doing a good job, you need some sort of control or people are just going to go mad, the thing's going to spread. It's going to really slow down what progress is being made.
So, I mean, a lot of the media headlines seem to be around this case or one or two cases in the States. Obviously, the biggest problem is here in Africa.
Yeah.
So, what are the respective countries or continents doing to on the ground?
Yeah.
To contain this?
Yeah, it's quite worrying because in America you'd think could be pretty well prepared for something like this. They had the one case who came in, that was Thomas Eric Duncan, and they've managed to turn that into a bit of a nightmare really. 2 nurses caught it from that guy, despite wearing full protective clothing. And they've come out to say that there were no protocols, they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. And one of them went on a flight with 130 other people with a fever. And that's really not promising. And on the good side of things, you've got both Senegal and Nigeria being declared Ebola-free, which is really good. And Nigeria has done a much better job than America has. And that's quite concerning.
So, what is the United States doing now to try and contain this?
So Barack Obama has called for a more aggressive response. At the same time, they're trying to tell everyone to calm down. It's a very emotive disease, Ebola. People get very panicked, a lot of fear about it, and they're telling everyone, calm the hell down. And they've also managed to get the nurses they did have in isolation pretty quickly. They seem to be on top of it. They're now in the process of tracking down all of those people on that flight, who they've come in touch with. And that was how Senegal and Nigeria stayed on top of theirs. So hopefully they're on the right track to keeping this thing under control.
Now, are we any closer to a cure? We chatted before the interview. Why is Ebola such a difficult disease to treat and cure?
Half of the problem is that until now, no one's really been bothered. I mean, it's a terrible disease, but it's been such a small scale beforehand that people have been devoting their efforts to other diseases. Now Ebola is suddenly killing people left, right, and center, and importantly, killing people in Europe and America, where they make the drugs. We're now getting somewhere. We're definitely closer. We also need to distinguish between a treatment or a cure and a vaccine, which are 2 different things. Treatment-wise, we've got ZMapp, which is the one they originally started treating with, and that quickly ran out. But it does look as though that is quite effective. It's been very effective in monkeys, and they are putting that into mass production very soon. So that's the main hope. We've also got a flu drug from Japan. It's quite strange that it's a flu drug, but it seems to work really, really well. And that's being deployed in Guinea from November. And hopefully that's going to start making inroads. On the vaccine front, there's one front runner that's being made by GlaxoSmithKline. That's currently being trialed in Mali. Only 3 people so far, but they're going to expand it. And they're hoping to get a stockpile of about 10,000 of those ready for when it is finally approved, which should hopefully be before the end of the year. But with 1.2 million people at risk of Ebola, 10,000 isn't going to go that far.
And South Africa, I mean, are we still sort of safely off the Ebola map? I know that there was concern about an influx of immigrants from West Africa over this past week.
Yeah, there is a travel ban in place. So non-South Africans from the 3 affected countries can't actually fly here. But there's worries about illegal immigration, and there's worries about South African citizens who have been there for a long time, but are now coming back. The message is still keep calm, don't stress. But the government, the health minister announced yesterday a new fund. It's going to be that 250 million rand fund to build a treatment centre in Sierra Leone. Interestingly, the government's only going to be paying 32.5 million of that 250, and they want private companies to stump up the rest. So it's going to be interesting to see which private companies sort of stump up the cash.
So, and just going back to the treatment side of things, obviously an medical ethical issue. I mean, everyone deserves a right to medical treatment, but I mean, this is clearly, as you see in the States, highly risky for nurses and doctors involved. Do you think it's ever going to get to a point where they refuse to treat Ebola patients just to try and calm down the spread?
It's a very interesting question. Health workers have been sort of really the epicenter of the problem. Most of the spread of Ebola outside of those 3 key countries has been through health workers. And they've infected further health workers. And this is becoming a bit of a problem. The strike in Sierra Leone over this week, that was by health workers who said the conditions aren't good enough. If the health workers start giving up, we're in for a real sort of nightmare situation. So hopefully they're going to stick with it. They need to provide better equipment for them. They need to provide better education for them. The Americans have now sent over 300 Marines to build a treatment center just for healthcare workers to hopefully offer them a bit more comfort of mind. But it's a worrying thought.